Let me ask another question. Once you become exceeds expectations in 1 year, does your expectations with your manager change? And is it always a fight to like the bar gets higher and higher to get exceeds expectations the next year?
Well, it shouldn't, but I'll tell you, each company has a different way of how they rank you, for example, and sometimes there are um, limits on you can only have X number of exceeds expectations, for example. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. Um, you should be working towards the best that you can do and the best that's for your position, your territory, your physicians and patients. And so that's really at the core of what we do. That being said, no, there shouldn't be a different standard, right? And then if you feel like midway through the year, you're not where you are tracking to be exceeds expectations, you can always ask, say, hey, I feel like maybe I'm not there or I'm not heading in that direction. What else can I do? Do you have any recommendations for me? What projects can I tackle or take on that will kind of put me in that really good position to have that rating?
Yeah, I love that. What's your advice on letting your manager know that you're really shooting for this? Is that an okay thing? What do you think?
I think it's okay. It, again, that shouldn't be the driving force for you. Internally, I think it should be you want to do the best that you can do and you want to help your team and your manager and the company overall, which then in turn helps the physicians and the patients. Really, that to me is the driving force. That's why we're here. That's why the reason many of us went into a healthcare profession. Um, so although you may feel like that's what you deserve, it just doesn't always work out that way. And that's just the way it goes sometimes.
What advice would you give to someone that maybe is not forward enough to ask these things to their manager, but they really want to like exceed expectations, but they don't want to be forward about it? How can they proactively identify like a manager's unspoken needs on the team?
You have to be observant of what's happening on your own team, especially. So if your manager says, hey, I'm going to put together this list for congresses, for example, of who's going to cover what session or who's going to cover what congress. But a couple weeks go by and you still don't have it, and yet you're waiting for that information. Maybe even ask or put together a skeleton one and say, hey, I know you mentioned about this congress list, but I took the liberty of pulling one together. I'd like to show it to you to see if that's what you need, and then do some tweaks if there's some other things that you need, and that will show them that you're listening and that you're willing to take things on without being told, and it helps not only you but the whole team and your manager as well.
Yeah, great advice. One more question for you, Kathleen. Um, we have people that are watching that are actually aspiring to be an MSL.
Uh huh.
Any advice for those people on how to break into industry and how to break into the MSL world?
It's tough. I know that. I think you have to be open to different areas, different therapeutic areas, and you have to be really persistent. So don't just pass on an opportunity because it's not your area of expertise. If it's close and it's an area of interest and you have a great passion for it, go for it. Um, you also have to be open to um, kind of consulting jobs, if you will. So they're not as great as being directly employed, but it can get you the experience that very often is need, where they'll say, hey, I need you to have experience. Well, how do I get it? Right. So if you can take a contracting job, you at least can get some of that experience. It's very time consuming as a manager to have to train someone brand new from academia, from the non-MSL world. And so that's why they really want somebody with even a year of experience. It's a big help.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let me just summarize the 4 strategies to be an exceeds expectations employee. Take initiative, make your interest known to your manager, stay positive, and also list out your accomplishments. And does that summarize it pretty well?
That sounds pretty good. Yep.
All right. Well, Kathleen, these have been very valuable insights for both current and aspiring MSLs. I just want to thank you for being a guest on the Pharmaverse.
Thank you for the invitation. This was a lot of fun.
Well, that ends another episode of the Pharmaverse Podcast. We have many great leaders lined up for you, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single career-enhancing insight. And I love to read your comments, so please leave a comment. But for now, that's a wrap. See you next time on the Pharmaverse.